Hi, I'm Jonathan from the Crankshaft Journal. It's January 31st, 2021, and winter is starting to get a little more harsh here in my neck of the Northeast. But regardless of where you live, it's a good time to have a winter project going, and if you haven't found one yet, there's good news. First, it's not too late. Second, I'm here to help. So let's jump right in. People sometimes ask which motorcycles make the best projects or how they should go about finding a worthwhile old bike that just needs some work. It seems everyone has opinions on this, and it's worth spending the time to take it all in because some of the information you pick up might help you avoid the many pitfalls that pervade the used motorcycle market. I have just a few tips to add to the list. I hope they help, and I'll keep it short. Number one, cast a wide net. You might already have a short list of makes and models that you'd like to have as projects, but don't limit yourself. Sure, you'd love an early Honda CB750, everybody would, but that ship sailed a few years back, so try to approach the hunt with an open mind, looking at a range of bikes, including some that you might not have considered before. Something might catch your eye. That's how I wound up with this Suzuki 1100. I wasn't looking for an early Japanese cruiser, but this machine popped up on Craigslist and I thought, wow, that's nice. It was cheap, roadworthy, and close to home, so I grabbed it. Glad I did. Second, use your resources. There are so many places where you can look for used bikes, and any of them could have just the machine for you. Of course, you have Craigslist, Cycle Trader, eBay Motors, others, but don't miss out on local and regional platforms like, say, Uncle Henry's. That's a general interest site for shoppers in Maine. I have a lot of friends there who feel Craigslist has just gotten too expensive and Uncle Henry's is more reasonable. Other used motorcycle sites include Cycle Soup, Rumble On, Motorcycle Trading Post. Some of these specialize in newer models while others are better for finding vintage iron. So search accordingly and take time to browse as much as you can to get a good feel for pricing and avoid missing sweet deals that don't last. Third, choose wisely. As you start finding potential project bikes, and there might be several that appeal to you, think seriously about the type of work you're prepared to do on the bike. This might range from a general cleanup, detailing, and maybe new tires, to removing and rebuilding the engine, transmission, brakes, and other complex parts. Just how much of a project do you want to tackle? Are you feeling strong and adventurous enough to buy a bike that isn't running? Some people love that kind of challenge. I prefer a bike that runs when I buy it. I think these endeavors tend to turn out best when you can honestly, reasonably figure on getting the thing back on the road within a few months. It may still take longer, probably will, but if you estimate well, you shouldn't wind up having to put several years of labor into what was supposed to be a straightforward project. Number 4, I like to call rare versus too rare, and to that I add beware. Most of the bikes I like best, in general, are between 30 and 50 years old now, so any of them will be pretty rare. Still, if you stick with models that were popular in their day, you shouldn't have too much trouble finding spare parts for them. Some vintage bikes have a huge fan base and lots of sources for parts and service. Hondas from the early 60s through the 70s, like this CL350, are extremely well supported. Like Ford Mustangs on the car side, you could order enough parts from catalogs to just about build one of these Hondas yourself. These are also among the easiest bikes to work on, with lots of instructional videos available. Other models require a bit more determination, while some are beyond challenging. Now, I love Suzukis and haven't had much trouble finding parts for my 82 GS, but I recently spotted an RE5 for sale. That's a rotary engine model Suzuki sold in the mid-70s. A cool bike that didn't sell well. It was too odd, too complicated, then and now as it turns out, at least for me. I wound up passing on that one because I knew parts could be scarce and I wasn't sure I had the skill to keep the thing running. It really does help to know your limitations. Finally, don't overpay. Sometimes the used bike market seems to run on wishful thinking. I can see the ad now, something like, "A true classic was running when I parked it sometime during the Clinton administration. Might need carbs rebuilt. No title. $5,000. My advice, keep scrolling. Someone has lost their mind. Bikes without titles can be a pain to register, depending on your state's motor vehicle rules, and any bike languishing for decades in some dank garage is essentially worthless. The seller should be happy you're willing to give him anything for it. Well, that's a bit of a rant, but still, you have to protect yourself. Every bike has a story, which sometimes can be a selling point, but it can also be a reason to walk away quickly. There are lovely bikes out there, and some fair-minded sellers who want to find good homes for them, or just get them the hell out of the garage. Look for those folks who aren't bent on ripping you off. Remember, while we may love old bikes and they can be great fun, most of them just aren't worth very much. Think hundreds of dollars instead of thousands when setting your project bike budget, and don't bust it. At least, not by too much. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. If you have time, please let me know how it goes. Take care.